Hey guys, you're listening to the ARCS Society podcast. My name is Alex, also known as Zeal. Join us in discussing a range of topics from business to psychology to personal life. We're all about it. We are so stoked to see so much growth within our active online community of successful action-taking young entrepreneurs, creators, innovators, and investors. So here's to you. Let's make things happen. Fantastic. So are we alive, dude? Great that you joined. How have you been?
I've been pretty good. I've made $50 in the last week.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty good.
It's not a lot, but I mean, it's better than nothing.
Yeah, true. How's your book coming along though?
I have a cover that I made myself.
Right. I think we talked about it. You said you were 3 chapters in. Like what are you searching for? What's the main thing that you still have to look for to keep writing your book?
Mostly just searching for like kind of like beginner stories. Not beginner stories. How do I put this in right terms? Like someone literally starting from nothing,
Mm-hmm.
like literally nothing. Like they were homeless, and then now they've reached a point. I've been trying to see if anyone's like that so that I can contact them. That's the biggest
Right.
challenge right now. I can send a picture of the book cover in the chat.
Oh, that'd be great, dude. I think everyone would be able to see your work.
Do I just send it in Business Lounge, or is there a
Yeah,
specific?
yeah. I think business lounge would be fine. Just explain what you're sending so that people understand. And look, dude, that's fantastic. Like, at the age that you're at, like, I think that's really like, how old are you? You're 15, correct?
18.
18. Bang. There we go. 18, dude. Like, none of the kids at 18 years old would be thinking about writing a book. Like, that's insane. Um, Especially something that you've got in mind about someone becoming, uh, you know, wealthy, I guess, from starting up from nothing. So, mm. So give me a explanation, like how has the first 3 chapters been? How difficult have you found that to just like put words into, I mean, your thoughts into words?
I've never really had difficulty putting my thoughts into words. I think since this is a business book and I'm going to be targeting, like entrepreneurs, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
and people who've never thought of starting a business, or maybe people who've, heard how profitable it can be, but they don't really know how to go about it. Like those are the people I want to target. So
Right.
I want to give that hopefulness feel, like right from the bat, like, you got this, and it doesn't matter what it is.
Yeah.
If you have a passion for it, it
Mm-hmm.
will go.
Mm.
Like the first chapter talks about, like, don't chase the money.
Mm-hmm.
Do the money, just do it for the passion.
Yeah.
The money will come. Like that's what the first chapter is mainly about, and then later on it goes into how you should market yourself, like
Mm-hmm.
depending on what you do, how should you price yourself, and how you should be pricing yourself from day one.
Yeah. Yeah, look, definitely, man. I think I definitely agree with what you've just said, especially with the chasing passion versus chasing money. A lot of people, I find myself seeing like most of my students really quickly burn out because they're chasing something that will come in the future, but they really don't need it now. And it's based off other people's opinions, of them. Like, some people are like, I want to be wealthy because this kid's wealthy, or because those people are going to be wealthy, but I'm not, or I'm not doing anything to get to that stage. So I think that's a perfect example that you brought there. Is there anyone specific that you're looking for to continue in terms of your idea for the further chapters? Are you looking for anyone specific, or is it just a random search for a person?
Um, I'd say specific. I do want them
Yeah.
to be very knowledgeable in whatever field they're in, and I again I want it to be from a position where they literally had absolutely nothing, like the
Mm-hmm.
worst of the worst,
Right.
and made it into a place that's, like that people can dream of. That, like the average person who works a 9 to 5 job will look at and be like, well, he's a millionaire because of whatever reason. They'll find whatever excuse, but they don't know the story
Yeah.
behind that person. They don't
De-
know that that person was homeless. They don't know that that person went through cancer or
yeah.
something horrible,
Mm-hmm.
and just wasn't anything that made a comeback from that. Like that's what I'm looking for.
Right. I mean,
And
that's a really good idea. I think, like, if something, if you do find something, definitely let us know, dude. I think that's a fantastic um, endeavor to be going through right now, as especially at your age. Like, when do you see 18-year-olds starting to write books? Like, uh,
never. Yeah, you only see them doing drugs and doing
yeah.
a lot of
Well,
stupid shit.
yeah, man. See, this is like, I
And
love.
growing up, I
Yeah.
took notes from my brother.
Yeah.
My brother is a horrible figure to have. I didn't. Keep in
Mm,
mind, I grew up without a father.
right.
I don't have a dad.
Yeah.
He
I'm
left me at
sorry
a
about
very
that, dude.
early age,
Yeah.
and all I really had was me, my mom, my grandma, and my brother, and that's it.
Mm,
My grandma, around when I was 12 or so, she had cancer, colon cancer. It was a very tough time for me, especially like as a student. My
right.
grades pretty much dropped. I didn't want to do anything. I I only wanted to play video games because that was like my only escape. Like
Yeah.
I was for sure thought that she was gone.
Yeah. Mm,
And during that time it was very tough times. It was tough on my brother too.
right.
But you see, what I did is I escaped to a friendly source.
Yeah.
Like nothing that's gonna harm me too much.
Yeah.
Still,
You.
too, it's too bad if you're sitting around on your ass all day just playing video games. It's a little unhealthy. But
Sure.
what I saw it as a way to be more efficient and a lot more healthier than what he was doing. You see, he was doing drugs,
Yeah.
pot, doing crack, getting drunk, vandalizing, stealing cars.
Yeah. Yeah. I think in your case, you had to look for the positivity in your life to escape that. I guess, to be frank, it was some kind of burden that you had in your life. I know may it still is your brother, but you obviously really love him for who he is. But you know, because of that kind of situation, like that would have made life even
Give
worse for you.
give me one moment,
No
please,
worries.
because my mother's calling me real quick.
Cool. Fantastic ideas on reverse engineering everything. I think we talk about a lot of things in life that really seem to fail us, and I think reverse engineering failure is important to understand how we can succeed next time, or like not fail again. In Kai's situation, I think what he would have done is really escape that through a positive source, something that motivated him. I think that's fantastic of him to be able to share that, especially so openly with us on ARCS. Fantastic stories every day from just normal people. So yeah, really recommend anyone listening to us to join up. We've got an amazing group of supportive people. Whether that be you're looking for just some personal advice or business advice, whatever it is, we're always here.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry about that.
Hey, no worries, dude. Yeah, I was just talking about how our group at ARCS is really supportive. Even if like whatever you're looking for, we've got something in store for everyone. So we're really glad to have you guys here, especially starting out the podcast as well. Really tough, especially with people's timing and stuff. So really glad that at least 3 people could join, even if you're listening, like that's fantastic.
Yeah, but like I haven't been through like the worst things. I know there's a lot of people who've been worse than me.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like I'll just say screw it. Like ideally, if I was like if I was rich, like if I was the person that I'm looking for right now,
Mm-hmm.
I would probably write about my experiences. Because when I was 6 years old, I saw my two aunts be shot pretty much right before me. They
Right.
died.
Right. I'm sorry
And
to
keep
hear
in
that.
mind, they were like the last two Japanese members of my family.
Yeah.
In a way, as horrible as this might sound, it it was a good thing
Mm-hmm.
because it made me realize who I am, who I identify as. Because yes, I'm Hispanic. Yes, I am Cuban, but I'm primarily Cuban. I was born in the U.S., but I consider myself to be more Japanese American than I do Cuban American.
Right.
I am in tune with that culture a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
From that age, from 7 years old, it was the day of my birthday when they got shot. So like I always look at my birthday.
Yeah.
For the longest time, I saw it to be the worst fucking day of my life.
Yeah.
Hated it. My grandma's husband died the day of my birthday. My aunts died the day of my birthday. I thought it was a cursed fucking day.
Mm-hmm.
And last year, when I turned 18, I sat there and I said, how long am I going to keep dwelling on the past? Like, yes, it's awful. They were my world. I'm never going to get them again. But just how long am I going to sit there and mourn for
Yeah.
something that I did not have any control over? And I stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And the nightmares do come around like, it's already we're in the first. In 3 months, it's going to be my birthday. I'm going to be 19. And while everyone's eating shit, doing parties and drugs and whatnot, I'm gonna be sitting here busting my ass trying to write this fucking book and doing as much resource and network management that I can do
Yeah.
to get shit done.
Dude, I think your parents and especially your grandmother and your aunts would be really proud of you. The way that you put things into context and really explain it is really motivating. Like even to me, I'm listening and uh, I'll be honest, I'm kind of getting emotional. Just listening to how you're dealing with that stuff. Like that's amazing.
I thank you for that.
I think at your age, really flipping everything into the way you want it to be, to finding yourself, turning it from a negative situation, from a situation that really hurts deeply, especially because it's family related, it really stabs you in the heart, and you being able to turn it around and turn it into something positive and something that you can work from, something that you can strive to achieve, something that can motivate you, something that can push you. Like I think especially, and again I'm gonna say at your age, that's like it's amazing. I couldn't imagine yourself in your position. I think there would be, I think I could possibly be in more trouble than you are. So I really applaud you on taking that step forward, and actually finding yourself. I wanted to talk about for our podcast today about the importance of reverse engineering failure. So that's why I asked, like, within your book, um, what were the challenges? Like, I know you said there weren't many, but I think a lot of people, especially like when you're writing a book, there's a lot of content that you want to put in there, but you can't because you're writing about one topic, but it really covers another. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
I get you.
like, you've got so much in mind, and you're just like, you really want to put it in the book, but that's like, you feel like there's another book coming, and you want to put it in there, but by the time you have that other book, you forget about it. So, like, what are some challenges that you faced when starting to write out your book, and now, like, looking back at what you've written already, like, what is kind of bugging you,
The biggest thing that bugged me, and it was the biggest regret. I had 1 week. I had every chapter that I was going to make. It was going to be around 10 chapters, pretty decently, sized book. I didn't want it to be too big.
Mm-hmm.
And I had them all in mind. I knew exactly what they were going to write about. I knew exactly what it was going to be about. I knew exactly what topics they were going to cover. And I did the one mistake that a writer should never do. And I have constantly been shitting on myself for it so that I do not make that mistake again. I did not write down the ideas that came to mind and the information that I had gathered.
Yeah.
So that was my biggest fuck up and that was my biggest regret.
Mm.
And I'm not holding myself down for it. I improvise and that's what I'm doing. I mean, as a writer, that's honestly I'd say my biggest skill is just writing. I
Yeah.
can I'm a good speaker as well, I'd say.
Mm.
Um so I think that with that mindset that, doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
I can just move on and look for other things that I can put in that probably would have been even better than whatever I had originally planned.
Yeah. I mean, from day one, I've been telling people, including my students, like, guys, you have to write your ideas down. Um, but nevertheless, as you said, like, from one idea comes another. And in your case, it could be better, you know. Your brain is always thinking and you're always pondering on new ideas, you know. You're always imagining, you're always changing your thoughts on things. So I think really where you came from there, like saying that you found something even better than your original idea, is great because that means you remembered the original idea somehow. So you still have it in your head, but you're not able to maybe articulate it and put it in the book as much as the new idea that you have. So yeah, I think the basis is like you really gotta put things down on paper wherever you would be. Like whenever you have the chance, a lot of people get a new idea and they're so hyped. They're like, oh yes, I'm gonna do this, and then a week later they're like, nah, I think that's a bad idea. You know, so many excuses come to mind, and so many other factors limit you to actually making that idea possible. So yeah, I think I think the actual the limit is that people don't put it down on paper, whatever that be, computer, piece of paper, or a book, or something like that, dude. It's really important, because even if you do have it on paper and something better comes up, that's better than having it on paper and actually adding to that idea, or adding something new than not having it on paper and getting a brand new idea, you know. I think planning out as well is important, especially as a entrepreneur and a writer. I would say really planning out what you're going to write in thorough detail. Like this is how I plan, and I've for the last I don't know what for the last year or so. And especially on the podcast, I've been articulating this in a positive way, but like planning is how people become better and how they understand themselves better, how they understand their business better, how that you can understand your book better, how you're going to understand what you're writing. I think that's really crucial.
I agree.
Yeah.
The biggest thing I'm stressing in this book is, like, again, do it for the passion. If you love baking, I myself enjoy baking. A lot of my like family members, consider me being a sissy for that, but I don't really care. I enjoy it. I get it from my mother. I love baking.
Mm.
I don't try to profit off of it because I don't like doing it for the money. I like doing it for myself, and I like doing it to see people's reaction.
Yeah.
I remember the first time like I baked a red velvet cake for my class because it was my teacher's birthday. And she came in there and she looked at me and she's like, "This is the best red velvet cake I've ever eaten." And keep in mind, I was like 13 at the time. And that arguably 13 to 15 are probably the worst years of my life. I
Right.
was lazy. I was uninspired. I was depressed, and I weighed 250 fucking pounds.
Right.
Because I'm bacon. I did eat a lot of bacon at that age. I still do eat bacon. It's good.
Right. Right.
But it had to have been the worst.
Yeah.
And then that was, I'd say, yeah, that was 8th grade.
Mm.
Everyone looked at me and they were just kind of like, yeah, no, he was going to stay fat. I came back in 9th grade year and I had lost 100 pounds.
Yeah. Wow. Like, people
Is that Frank?
just don't see their potential. And I think
They don't.
one part of that is they don't sit down and don't think about what they should be doing. Like they know that they should be doing it, but they don't sit down with themselves and they're not like, "Hey Kai" or "Hey Alex, why aren't you doing that?" You know, like
I remember there was this one kid. I remember this one kid. He was in my class and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna be an NBA player. Like I'm gonna be an NBA basketball player." And teacher looked at him and she was like, "Okay." And then I looked at him and I'm like, "How often do you practice?" And he's like, "Once a week." I'm like, "Okay."
yeah,
Like right there, I was like, "Yeah, you're not gonna do that." And then I asked him like, "What's your GPA?" And he's like, 1.9. And I'm like, "Okay." You realize that most NBA players need to graduate with like a 3.0, and then on top of that, the ones that are up there, like LeBron James and all these other really famous guys,
mm-hmm,
practice upwards of 40, 50 hours a week.
Okay, well,
So I like keep in mind, I don't know anything about basketball. I just know they practice a shit ton. That goes into anything. You want to be a professional golfer, you got to practice every fucking day, at least like fucking 4 hours.
yeah,
You can't just go once a week at it and be like,
yeah.
yeah, I'm gonna be the best, when there's so many other people working harder than you are. I straight up told him, and I destroyed his confidence. I straight up told him, like, you are not going to achieve that with the way you're doing it. And I knew because at the time I wanted to be professional in a video game called League of Legends. And I almost got the role. The reason I didn't is because I had to be 18 years old.
right,
And I was far from it.
yeah. Look, I think a lot of employers, a lot of people in sports teams, a lot of people in EA game sports teams, like I think a lot of people just in general underestimate the power of themselves and others. Like I always try to uplift people, even if they're negative at me. You know, the negativity doesn't affect me. It's the other way around. I feel bad for them that they're shooting out negativity and not doing anything about their own life. You know, so like I totally understand that, Kai. I think a lot of people are gonna shit on you. Like a lot of people are gonna take out time of their lives and shit on you or like backstab you. It's just the human nature. Like
It
you
is.
honestly you can't get around it. You're gonna embrace it and I guess embrace that negative energy that they're sending to you and reverse engineer it. Think about it, how you can make that better to help them, so that they realize that you're not affected. As this is proven by psychology. As long as they realize that you're not affected by what they're sending you, they will stop. That moment
They
that
will.
they realize that their negativity, their comments, or whatever they're doing, negatively is not affecting you, they will stop
Wow.
because it is the reaction that they're looking for from you. It's that reaction that keeps them going. It's like momentum in business, dude. It's what keeps you going, that you keep persisting. Or writing that book,
Oh,
dude.
God. Sorry.
Oh,
good, dude.
I've been writing for like about a year now, haven't I?
Yeah. But you're still going, right? You're still
Yeah, no,
determined.
I'm still, I'm still going.
You're still determined to finish. Like that's the point. It's finishing what you started. And that's the same thing. So you have to really reverse engineer it. So if you want to stop them from finishing what they started, you just change your reaction towards what they're sending you.
Yeah, Bobble. I don't know what your name is. I'm just gonna call you Bobble. Um, the way I want to do is when I'm done, I'm going to publish it on Amazon, and I want them to make physical copies, physical and digital copies for those who like ebooks and stuff. I also want to put it on uh, Autonoble. Is it Autonoble or
Barnes
Audible?
and
My bad.
Barnes and Noble.
Um, yeah, I wanted to get to Barnes and Noble too, but I feel like that would be for some other time. I want
I
to be
would
on
buy it.
Audible
It looks good.
and Amazon for sure. So like, because I know there's people out there who don't really enjoy reading; they'd much rather have someone read to them. That way, if they do see my book, they could at least listen to it, and if they don't, then there's no excuse for them to have not seen it. If you get what I mean.
Yeah.
Um, I use the skills that I have. I'm pretty decent with Photoshop. I'm not an expert. Um, I have a wide range of skills. I'm good at Word. I'm good at Photoshop. I'm good at video editing. I'm I'm a good speaker. I'm a good writer. I've been trying to turn all of that and make use out of every skill that I've received, that I've trained myself to have,
Mm-hmm.
to turn it into something good. Like that book cover you see there, I didn't pay anyone to do it. I did that myself. Uh it took like an hour around there just to get like all the images and stuff and to make sure the text is sized good.
Yeah. Hey, dude. I know, like, I know that like skills are great, but what are you doing about your flaws? What are you doing about your failure? What's your opinion about that? What are you doing about it that's going to help you in the future? Or is it nothing that you're doing about it? Or what's up with that?
Well, as soon as I see something that I'm flawed and I do everything I can to fix that.
How do you fix it?
Practice.
Practice.
Like I know when I release my book, I'm gonna have to market my book. It's not gonna blow up magically overnight.
Of course.
So I'm looking as my book as an opportunity so that when I put it on Amazon, I can market it.
Right.
So I can practice my marketing so I can reach a wider audience.
I think that's a fantastic explanation.
So if I truly am shit at marketing, like I say, like I tell myself I am, I'm going to use this book as an opportunity to prove that. If I cannot get any sales in the time that I market my book, then I'm doing something wrong, and I will have to reverse engineer whatever the fuck I'm doing wrong. Whether
Okay.
it be I'm not accessing a certain age group or I'm not accessing a certain group of people.
I think that's a fantastic way that you're going about it, and I was about to talk about that, so, but you mentioned that um, really utilized the idea of reverse engineering your failures. But look, can you give us an idea of how you're going to market it and why you think you're bad at marketing?
I think the way I'm going to go about marketing it too, there's a ton of libraries near me.
Mm-hmm.
So when I get a bunch of physical copies, I'm going to actually go to these libraries and present the book.
Right.
Aside from that, I'm also going to be marketing it on. I'm going to be marketing it on YouTube via video advertisements. I'm going to be marketing it on Instagram and Facebook as well. At least that's like the plan. If everything goes smoothly and I have enough budget to do that,
Yeah.
and then hopefully, if it goes well, if my book does exactly what I want it to do, which is reach a wide audience of people and make them take action to do something that they enjoy,
Mm-hmm.
in hopes that it could be profitable for them.
Yeah.
I would want to be the type of person that just kind of you could talk to,
Yeah.
kind of like Gary Vee in a sense,
Yeah.
but like be more. He's like very serial about it, like he's very just straight off, right off the bat. I want
Yes.
to be like that,
Uh-huh.
straight off the bat, except more toned. Tell
Right.
you what's legitimate, but also tell you that you could fix it
Yeah.
just by doing whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of the end hope.
Okay. I think that's really interesting the way you put it. I think you should definitely take on um some kind of perspective on Gary Vee, but I think you should be mainly yourself. Who are you, Kai? I think Gary Vee has a really good character in terms of how he really speaks to his audience. Like he knows what he's doing. He knows what he wants to tell them, and he knows the audience's problems. And I think if you can utilize those ideas and reverse engineer it into yourself, bringing it to your audience, I think that's what you're looking for. Am I right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
essentially.
So I
Yeah,
think
one thing that me and Gary Vee like have in common is I don't really care about supercars. I don't really care about hypercars. I don't really care about mansions or even having a big house.
mm-hmm.
I My goal in life is to make enough so that I don't have to be uncomfortable, so that I don't have to worry.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, I grew up in an environment where there were times where we had money and there were times where we don't have money.
Yeah.
Right now we're in a situation where we don't have money. Our mortgage is going up. We're paying about around 1,600 for the mortgage.
Yeah.
And keep in mind, since we're in the middle of buck ass Miami, everything's expensive. Everything.
Yeah.
Whether it be food, car insurance, cars themselves, houses.
Yeah.
That's why I also am looking at the opportunity to move to Ohio. Yes, there's a significantly less, like there's not as big of a community
Right.
in Ohio than there is in Miami. There's a lot less people, but everything's a lot more inexpensive.
True.
So I'm kind of looking at that as an opportunity. Like while I'm studying to be a NASCAR driver,
Yeah.
like while I'm taking those courses for the 3 years that I'm going to be up there, and I'm going to be busting my ass. I have it set in stone. I'm going to be a NASCAR driver by the time I graduate. I will break whatever records I have to break. Shit, in Gran Turismo, it's a video game, but it's also like a simulation. I don't know if you know
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
Gran Turismo.
Definitely do.
There's a lot of people who play this game, and if they get to a certain point, they can actually become real racers. You kind of skip the whole process
Yeah.
if you're good at it enough.
Right.
I've gotten sub 7 minutes on the Nürburgring,
Right.
which is insane. That's very close to real driver time.
Yeah. And I'm
So
guessing you have a whole setup at home that you use to make it more realistic, or is it joystick?
no, I wish I had a steering wheel and pedals, but they didn't work.
Right.
So I've been using the PlayStation controller. I desperately would love to have a whole setup to make that as realistic as possible,
Mm-hmm.
but I can't afford it right now. At least a good one that will give the whole feel.
Yeah. I think,
Um,
dude, I think you're full of ambitions, and I'm really glad that we have people on here, like myself and you, and Duel, who joined the mentorship team recently. So congratulations to him. And of course, the owners, Bobble and Coing. I think our group's really tied together because we have so many things in common, and we're really helpful group. So I really like to reach out to our listeners right now, whether that be you guys from ARCS listening to the podcast, or anyone out there who's looking for a group that really could tie in with you. People who can help you, not people who are gonna sell you shit, but people who are gonna actually dedicate their time to help you. Either that be with this podcast, or maybe someone in our group that could help you, or by you just joining. I think that'd be a fantastic idea. Just take the chance. Like, you've got nothing to lose. So
essentially.
I think Kai could agree on that, and not Superman. I think if you guys can comment on that, I'd be really grateful. I know that that Kai is really new to our group, recently joined or recently started talking, I guess. But I think a lot of people in here would agree with what I said.
I know, I 100% agree. I remember when I first, got bit by the entrepreneurial bug. That's what I call it. I don't
Mm,
know if anyone else calls it that. It was last year when
yeah,
I first like saw this way. I'm like, oh, you can make money online and stuff. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. I was sitting here. I'm like, I looked at myself and I'm like, so I've been sitting on my ass these last few years playing video games when I could have been like making money.
yeah,
And then I thought it was gonna be pretty simple, because I'm like, I mean, I know the internet and stuff. And then yeah, that changed. But I started looking at all these like gurus and stuff on YouTube, and it took me. I didn't buy into any of their courses, thankfully, but it did take me a minute to kind of figure out that they are just there to sell you stuff and not really help you.
yeah, indeed.
So that's when I started looking elsewhere. And everywhere I tried to look, I only found people that wanted to sell to you and not help you.
Mm,
So now I think I've actually found the place that I've been looking for, which is we're not here to just like yeah, we're here to promote our businesses, but we're not here to just screw each other over.
yeah,
Like we're here to actually evenly uplift each other upwards and bring ourselves up instead of just trying to sell to each other whatever the
definitely.
hell it is we do.
Definitely, man. I think a lot of people have different businesses, and that's what lets us exchange knowledge and information. There's people doing SMMA, people doing social media marketing for listeners who don't know what SMMA stands for. People doing print on demand, people doing drop shipping, people doing branded drop shipping, and there's quite a bit of successful people in here. I think everyone's successful to some degree. I don't think anyone in here that's not successful. On at least, I think even people who strive for their dreams are to some extent successful. I think you're halfway there. If you're striving and if you're dedicated to reach whatever you want to reach, I think that's the point when you can actually look back and see that you're actually trying. Like people in here are hardworking. There's never been anyone within ARCS that's told me that they couldn't or they shouldn't work for the dreams. So I'm really proud of this group, and I'm really glad at the pace that everyone's going at. And like there's just so much activity that's been growing since we started the podcast. So I'm really glad that's happening as well.
And I think you could vouch for me because the first time we got in here, I had a completely different attitude than I do now.
Yeah, I think that definitely changed as well, dude. I think since joining other servers, like the reality of ARCs. I know one of the owners personally, so in person. But even just being here for the last like 6 to 8 months, like it's definitely been really big help for me and helping others. So especially seeing the reality, seeing dreams become a reality is really interesting. So people turning goals into a reality.
Yeah, not only with like this book, like this book is one, you know,
Mm,
this book is one thing I want to do.
yeah.
But like I told you through private call that one time, like I also want to do a YouTube channel. I actually want to have two YouTube channels.
Mm-hmm.
One for automotive content since I love cars, and another one for, video games since that's one of my biggest passions ever since I was a kid.
Yeah.
Like originally I was going to make video games. That's what I was going to do.
Right.
And I did for a while after testing it out, but I burnt myself out of it. So instead, I took the passion that I had to make video games and I completely flipped into the passion that I have for cars. And I'm learning new stuff every day, but I'm not indulging myself the way I did with video games,
Mm.
so that I don't tire myself out.
Yeah. I think. Look, dude. A lot of people get this like mixed up, but self-control is really important. And it all ties back to my concept of planning. A lot of people are like, "Oh, I don't need a to-do list, or I don't need a missions list, or I don't need a schedule. I'm cool, dude. Like I can do everything in a day." And then they get up to 5 p.m. and they're like, "Oh shit, I haven't actually done anything today." Like, like you think you're productive, but you're actually not. You'll
Either that
you
or you're too productive.
Yeah. It can go both ways, dude. A lot of people come to the end of the week and they're either like, "Oh yeah, I've done so much," like whoa, and then you're by the end of the weekend you're dead, and next Monday for you is like hell. So it can really honestly go both ways. And I think really having a balance, and I know Gary talks about this, but having a work-life balance, he's like, well, what is your work-life balance? He's like, being yourself. Who are you? Don't predicate your work-life balance on society, on someone else's thoughts. Like, be you. Create your own work-life balance. Work for your dreams.
That's what I've been doing.
Yeah,
I enjoy my own personal leisurely time, to play video games and
exactly.
hang out with my friends and be with my girlfriend.
Yeah.
And then when I'm not doing any of that, sometimes I'll work on my book, or sometimes I'll watch videos.
Mm.
And when I'm watching videos, it'll be 50-50. It'll be automotive. And
Yeah.
other times it'll be research for my book, looking at entrepreneurs, proven ones that aren't just gurus,
Yeah. I
Because
think
I look at those gurus, and honestly, the way I look at gurus, I just think of them as scammers that are intelligent.
I
That's
think
what I see them as.
I think a lot of them are just really good marketers.
That too.
In terms of they put out a course, build up the hype, so that it's as if the best course, in the world, and a lot of people buy into it, not knowing that that information already exists in groups like ARCS. Like, ask anyone here. I think a lot of people here are knowledgeable in stuff that are sold in courses, and I think they're really happy to share that information. So, yeah.
It's funny because when I had my drop shipping store, I still remember the brand name. It was called Surface, and it was about like originally, and I screwed myself over because I messed up the original image for the brand. The original image was supposed to be like wooden handmade objects, and then sometime around the middle before the store launched, it switched to like luxurious type of feeling. Because I kind of realized, yes, there's a market for natural objects,
Yeah.
but there's a bigger market for those people who want to be like, oh, like I have a luxurious item or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah. I
That's
think
completely stupid.
Yeah, I think a lot of them are just taking advantage of the internet, because that's the thing that Gary talks about, taking advantage of social media and creating a brand around yourself. And once you do create that personal brand, people are going to believe you more. But it's the liars out there, that they're like, my students are making the money, not me. So like, you may be knowledgeable, but you're not using that knowledge to benefit yourself. So you can't actually show any results. And one way I think that's fine, as long as your students are actually showing the results that you're teaching them of. But in the other way, like, what are you doing to help yourself?
It's very big. There's a very big community out there. I think they're in the wrong place,
Mm.
especially the entrepreneurial community.
Yeah,
I think they're very mixed in
yeah,
what they're trying to do.
definitely, dude. I think there's just too many people becoming entrepreneurs. Like it's become the new career that everyone's looking forward to, you know. And
And
I,
it makes it a lot more difficult to get around because of
yeah,
that.
exactly. It's like it's
It's
like
not a
it's like Bitcoin, dude. Like
yeah.
everyone's trying to get in because it's gonna rise to 20 grand, and then suddenly it's going to dip to 3K. From 20K to 3K, because a lot of people are going to become very successful, and majority are just going to you know, they're going to go back to 9 to 5, you know, or whatever helps them best. Because the reality is, a lot of people dream, but not many people do.
Another thing I think people are doing incorrectly is that, and this is something I've noticed, entrepreneurs invest in their business a little too much. They're not investing in other businesses.
Mm.
Like there's a lot of stocks out there that could be making you more money, especially dividends, than your business is currently making you. And you could use that to your advantage.
I think that's a good point, but a lot of people. I've been advising this and I've been testing this myself. So I don't have much money in stocks, but I do have a few companies that I follow here and there. So, like, just noticing the sense is not much, dude. Like, you really have to have a decent amount of money to invest in stocks, like to actually make a decent amount back with dividends.
Of course.
I've personally tested with a few $100, you know, just seeing the sense change how things work. It's honestly hasn't made me more than like $40, but I knew it wouldn't be because it's really based on the amount. But the people who do have that kind of money, you know, they rather waste it on a Lamborghini. And when I say waste, a lot of people are going to judge me for this, but when I say waste, it is a liability that you're buying.
Yeah. And even if it is Lamborghini, I will admit that Lamborghinis do hold up value more than other supercars.
Yes, but the point is, wouldn't you rather put that investment towards a stock and
Into,
yeah,
yeah, exactly.
like
That's
and double it, then get your Lamborghini, dude.
that's what Warren not Warren Buffett, what was it? Grant Cardone, he said that.
Yeah,
He made a video on his one of his Rolls Royce. I think it was.
yeah, I saw that as well. I
Yeah,
think
he
it's a
says like,
fantastic thing. Like his passive income, the passive income that he made in a month bought him two Rolls Royces, two brand new I think they were Phantoms. Yeah, like super expensive $350,000 cars. He got two of them, one for his wife and one for himself, because of his monthly passive income. It wasn't stuff that he earned at the end of the year. It's passive income,
yeah,
and that's what
it's
people
access money.
exactly.
A lot of people don't get
I,
that.
I think that's a brilliant idea because I think he could have easily made that money back in the next month. You know, like that's what you want.
You don't want to take your own money.
Yeah, exactly. You want to make it off some kind of other income source.
That's
That
why and I have this planned out. You know, if when I go to Ohio, when I go up there and when I'm done studying,
yeah
while I'm paying for my apartment, I'm gonna stay in that apartment until my girlfriend graduates from her medical school and she becomes a cardiologist, and then we're gonna stay in that apartment for a year more. In that year, assuming that I'm a racer and I'm making the base salary of $250,000, I'm gonna be buying property all over Ohio.
yeah.
I'm gonna be buying apartments, hotels, motels, everything, and I'm gonna have that feed me passive income.
I
And
think
then I'll get the McLaren 720 that I would love to have.
mm,
I don't really care about Lamborghini or Ferrari. McLaren is one thing because I love their history. They have
yeah
what a beautiful history in the automotive world.
mm,
That's the only real reason I want one. I don't want one because the image that I'm rich. I want it
yeah.
because they look badass and because of their history.
Yeah, I think a lot of people get this mixed as well, but like like Toyota and Mercedes will still get you to the location that
Yeah,
you
100%.
the destination. It's just that badge on the car that makes it so different.
There's a lot of
There's a difference between sports cars and normal versus luxury cars. I understand sports cars. There's a difference. So
100%.
I understand buying a sports car, but I don't understand buying a $1 million luxury car. That's what I don't understand. Not a lot of people do it, but when people buy that, I would rather ignore it, you know. I don't want to understand it even.
It
Like it,
works well for gurus.
It does. It really builds up their personal brand. But dude, they die out. Like that becomes irrelevant.
Yeah, it does. And eventually they have to sell it.
Exactly. Eventually they have to sell it because they don't have any money left or they're bankrupt.
Like I remember, there's this one guy. He's still growing for some fucking godforsaken reason.
Yeah.
Tanner J. Fox, I think it is.
Right.
He has a blue, like a light blue Huracan or some shit.
Yeah.
Him and his friend, I forgot his friend's name, but I followed him for some time too. His friend has like a M3 or something. And my cousin has that. It's a pretty good car. It's a sports luxury car.
Yeah.
But you know, him Tanner, he has a Huracan, so he obviously gets a lot more views.
Mm-hmm.
And in majority of his thumbnails, he's already made like 4 different videos about how he got his Lamborghini. Fucking 4.
Yeah.
Like at that point, when I saw the second video come up, I'm like, wait, didn't he make a video about this already?
Yeah.
So I looked back and I'm like, yeah, he did. And when I looked at them, they were the exact same video.
Yeah.
Just spread around different times, and people ate that shit up in the comments. Like, holy fuck, I want to get like this too. And then he had an Amazon course, and me, I was smart. I looked at his Amazon course. I looked at the price. I was expecting like $100 or something. He was asking $500 for an Amazon FBA course. So then I started looking around, and I started looking to see what people thought of this course. And people were saying it's not a bad course, but it's not worth $500 because it provides you with the utmost bare bones. Like, it's like a basic tutorial for Amazon FBA.
Right.
And I find that really stupid because
Yeah.
you could, the way I see it, you could put those videos for free on YouTube and get a much bigger audience.
I know. Exactly, dude.
Instead of selling it. And while yes, that video got you the Lamborghini, which allowed you to keep growing to be a whatever, no second, whatever guru
Yeah.
he is now. Because I see him talking about Bitcoin and shit recently in stocks, and I'm like, I thought you were Amazon FBA, so now you're trying to expand into other shit. And he's not even, he admits that he's not even doing all the work himself. He has friends that already have been successful that help him out. So he does not know what the fuck he's talking about. He sells courses.
Dude, I'm sure that a lot of these people honestly build up their wealth of others, you know, others helping them. Because how else would they? Like, they're just trying to copy their friends, you know?
And
like,
it's smart, though.
Yeah,
it works. And it works really fucking well.
Yeah, I think it works really well, but I think the long-term gain has really failed them.
That's why, like, I look at those people and I'm like,
in the long term, a lot of people are gonna shit on them because
they realize when they actually get smart.
Exactly, because they're gonna know that basic course that they bought for $500 is now released for free from Amazon itself.
Exactly.
So,
and I was looking at FBA. He was the one that like originally got me looking into FBA, and I started looking at it. I'm like, huh.
Exactly, dude. If Amazon released that same course with videos for free or for like $50, dude, he's gonna get shit on so much.
100%.
Like, I'm not judging him, but that's the reality.
And I don't shit on him because he's successful in what he's doing.
Yeah.
Whether it be wrong or whether it be stupid, bottom line is he's successful.
He is.
So he's doing something right, whatever it is. He's doing something right.
Indeed.
And I've thought, I mean, I could do the exact same shit. You know, I could borrow my cousin's M3 for like a random advertisement. And literally, I shit you not, I've gotten the exact same advertisement on YouTube for the past 2 months. At this point, I just find it annoying. Like, the first time I saw it, I'm like, yeah, this guy's a guru. But now it's just straight up annoying. Like, can you please stop, like, appearing?
Yeah. I know, dude.
It's this dude who's saying, he's like, oh, you know about the e-com course, and you didn't go to the event. I'm like, what e-com course? I don't even remember getting an advertisement for your e-com course.
Yeah.
Let alone clicking about an e-com course.
Yeah, I know. Yes.
So then he starts showing, like, I saw the whole thing. He starts showing a bunch of pictures of these, like, it's just in a straight line of Lamborghinis. And then in the back, there's, like, Ferraris. And right in the middle, there's the freaking Rolls-Royce Cullinan or whatever the hell the SUV is. And he's like, yeah, these are all of my cars. and then he
Yeah.
showed a house that was completely different than the one he was in at the beginning of the video.
Mm-hmm.
And I just sat there and I'm like, and people fall for this shit.
Yeah,
I
dude.
sat there and I started clapping and I'm like, I applaud this guy.
Mm.
He's fucking smart.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people out there are smart in terms of making sales, but in terms of keeping a legacy and actually continuing that long term, that's a problem that I find when I see like someone like him. You know, it's a shame they do it for the short term. You know.
It is, but something that also really woke me up.
Yeah.
I started looking at Warren Buffett and Jeff Bezos and Steve Jobs
Yeah.
and you know I think it's on Netflix, The Founder. I don't know if you've seen that movie. It's about how
Yes.
McDonald's was brought up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shit woke me up.
Mm.
I sat there and I'm like, these guys really started from nothing, and when they were making money, they did not spend a dime.
Yeah.
Like Jeff Bezos was still driving a it was I mean, I think it was a new car for the time. It was a 1990s. He had a 90s Accord,
Mm-hmm.
which now is fucking ancient. But you look back at it in retrospective, like he had a net worth of how many millions,
Quite a few.
and he was still driving an Accord.
Yeah.
Like, and you look at Warren
Yeah.
Buffett, he still drives a Cadillac.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I just know it's a Cadillac and it's a really old one.
Yeah. I mean,
It's impeccable. Like it really sits there and makes you think like these guys did it for the long run, not for the money. Like they could have
Exactly.
gotten a Porsche at the time,
yeah.
but they wanted to invest that money into their business, and I find that extremely smart.
I think it is, dude. I think that's something that I'll be thinking about as well and taking into consideration because I think really, and this is a quote that I have on my socials, but legacy is greater than any currency. And I think Gary Vee says it perfectly.
I agree.
I think the long-term gain and game rather than gain is really important to me. And I think seeing people like Warren Buffett, Grant Cardone, Steve Jobs, a lot of the successful people who have become, who have built up wealth. And let me tell you, wealth on passive income, that are literally sitting at home earning billions, you know? Like, they did the work in their teens and in their young years, and now they're free. They're still business. They're not retired. Like, Warren Buffett's still investing money.
Yeah, he still is.
He's like 60 or 70 and he's still an investor.
And not only that, he still talks about the next like 70 years or something like
Exactly.
that.
He's predicting stuff and
Crazy to think about that.
he's got billions invested in companies. Millions of billions of dollars invested in multiple companies. He's got a whole list, dude. And he's not stopping there. He knows what he wants to do. He ain't retiring soon. I can see that. He's a real businessman. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining the podcast. Sadly enough, I'm going to have to end it here. That's all we have for Sunday and today. Thank you for joining up on our Sunday podcast on ARCS. My name is Alex, and I'm one of the mentors on ARCS. I'd really encourage you, if you're listening, to join up. There's a lot of value that we bring here. A lot of people doing a lot of different stuff and having a lot of ambition. So, again, thank you, Kai, for joining. Thank you, Bobble, for listening up. And hopefully we'll keep making progress in terms of Kai's book, seeing him make progress towards that. And we'll keep going. Thanks for joining, guys.
Alrighty. It's been a good talk.
Thank you for tuning in this week. We hope you enjoyed the podcast. We'd love to see you next week. We record every Sunday at 9 a.m. AEST on ARCS Society. Join us today.